Hello everybody and welcome to the face reading for successful relationships. Today I will be talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who, as you may know, are engaged to be married. I have done a number of readings of the couples, including the reading of Harry's older brother William and Kate Middleton, who is now, of course, is the Duchess of Cambridge. I make my assessment of relationships by breaking down all relationships in three categories. I describe them in my book, Face Reading Secrets for Successful Relationships. These categories are perfect match, green light, a good match with inherent challenges to be aware of, yellow light, and a match that is not that perfect, red light. In fact, Kate and William fell into a yellow light category because they are a combination of a bilious, which is Kate, and a sanguine, William. Though some facial features made them a bit more compatible. So their assessment is in truth someplace between green and yellow light. So let's see what we have in store for Harry and Meghan. Here they are. They're certainly a cute couple. Let's look first at them separately and then as a couple. First, the prince, Prince Harry. The beard that he has for quite a few years now makes it a bit challenging reading his face. So for determining Harry's personality type, I will use one of the pictures where he is younger and does not have a beard. Here, what do you think? Not simple, huh? You see, he would be a Pluto if his chin were a bit more chiseled and square, like these guys who I use in my book for examples of Pluto. You can see their chins are very square, much more squarish than he is. So he is almost a Pluto, but because the chin is not clearly that of a Pluto, his face may be viewed as simply a Mars. But what do you do with that chin? Well, if you now forget for a moment about the square of the Mars, you see the lines from the forehead toward the narrow chin, and you will see a triangle. So, what do we have here is a Mercury over a Mars face with some influence of a Pluto. Remember the formula. If it feels like there are some features of a face present, more than likely the qualities are there, even if they contradict one another. That's why at times you meet people about whom you say, I don't understand. One moment he, she is one person, another moment it's a totally different person. Yes, they may be all three personalities in one. So, what all these shapes tell us about Harry? First, that as a Mars, he is most action-oriented, impatient, has a short attention span, has a short fuse. He is generous and courageous, a risk-taker. He loves to shine and conquer. Remember, of all personalities, Mars is the most warlike. Mars usually is not that loyal in personal relationships, but remember, Harry has some resemblance of a Pluto as well. Pluto is very much like Mars, plus a few unique characteristics. Unlike pure Mars, he is very loyal, and unlike Mars, Pluto has a greater attention span and can, if he chooses, be a good scholar. And finally, the influence of the Mercury, the triangle. Unlike pure Mars or even Pluto, who thinks slower, Mercury thinks very fast. They are more creative and more sensitive than either Mars or Pluto. So we have here the sensitivity of Mercury and the impatience of Mars, the loyalty of Pluto and the need for change of Mercury, short attention span of Mars and quickness of the mind of Mercury, anxiety of Mercury and the regal self-importance of Mars, conquering charm of Pluto and sensitivity of Mercury, all in one person. Interesting, huh? That gives a picture of quite a volatile person, I would say. In addition, there are influences from the features. The earlobe, which is diagonal, reveals lack of control and a great deal of nervous tension. And the eyes, look how deep set they are. We know that Harry acts as an extrovert, but in truth, he's an introvert. Keeps the real stuff to himself. Very few people, if any, know the real Harry. His lips confirm this. Unlike his brother, whose lips are balanced, Harry has practically no upper lip. Once again, meaning that he does not tell you what is deep inside, even though he is quite talkative. You see, the space between the tragus and antitragus is large, meaning he can talk and knows how to talk a lot, but no upper lip. When you see someone like this person with a lip that is thin and the person is talking a lot, don't be surprised. Just look at the ear and you will know that this person is talking, but not really sharing with what's inside. Another feature, look at his ears. They are far from the skull, meaning that he is independent. And finally, the nose. The nose is a pillar of strength and also a sign of emotionality. As you can see, Harry's strength and emotional makeup, his energy, are somewhere between those of a bilious and a sanguine. Unlike his brother's nose, which is more somewhere between a bilious and a nervous. So since we are on the subject, let's get to Harry's temperament now. Remember, our face is the embodiment of our personality, and the profile is who we really are behind the mask. It's our temperament embodied, of course, in our profile. So what do you think? The heavy jaw, the corner going down 90 degrees, the chin protruding slightly forward, looks like Harry is a sanguine. And his reddish skin and red hair are what a pure sanguine would look like. But wait, what about the line that you can make between the forehead and the chin? You can pretty much make a straight vertical line, which tells us that Harry is also bilious, meaning that the young man came into this world as a sanguine, physically, muscle coordinated, active. He loves competition, but he is a short distance runner in every respect, runs out of steam after exerting a burst of energy. He needs breaks and possibly a day nap. He's territorial, likes to acquire things. He's generous, courageous, gets easily bored, and has a short temper. But do not worry about his attention span, because usually sanguine temperament has a short attention span. Because remember, he's also bilious. And with the bilious will, he is able to will himself to focus, as well as to tame his temper, though it takes work, because the sanguine impulse and the impatience are there. His will allows him to get organized and to plan, which otherwise his sanguine side would absolutely detest. The sanguine in him wants to be spontaneous, to act in spur of the moment, but the bilious is calling for planning and order. Once again, the struggle within. So overall, I would say it's not easy to be Harry. And now let's look at his woman of choice. Meghan Markle, ladies and gentlemen, soon to be known, I believe, as Her Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex. It looks like her personality / face is a sun, but what do we do with those wide jaws? It looks more like these guys. It looks like she's a Jupiter as well, just with the sun forehead. So, what does it tell us about Meghan's personality? As a Jupiter, he likes order, she has integrity and a passion for justice, she is stable, consistent and reliable. She does not get easily discouraged, even when the going gets tough. The only time she loses her composure is when she perceives an injustice. That's when she may become authoritarian, moralistic, and self-righteous. In a relationship, she is maternal and caring, very forgiving, and protecting of her partner. She is a good companion for her partner and will not mind to follow as long as the nature of the endeavor that is offered to her is moral and respectful of others. The sun forehead adds to her personality detachment from the outcome, which is usually a good prerequisite for success. She can enjoy company, but is also comfortable being on her own. She has a few close friends and is very choosy whom she picks as friends. In a romantic relationship, she needs space and time to herself. Someone who wants to be with her all the time will make her feel suffocated, and she will quickly find a way out of such a relationship. A couple of features now. You see that her lips, unlike Harry's, are quite proportionate. That is, her upper lip is full, just as her lower lip, quite different from Harry's, right? So she does not hesitate to speak her heart. He will always know what she stands for. But I don't think it's reciprocal in this relationship. Her eyes are the eyes of an extrovert. So she is outgoing, friendly, and social. And indeed, you get what you see. Compare them to his deep-set eyes, and you know what I'm talking about. And it appears that he is more talkative than she is. You see the space between the tragus and antetragus. His space is larger than hers. The difference is when she speaks, she really tells you what's inside. When he speaks, that's what it is, the talk. But all these features and even the face are just nuances, particularly the face. It's what she developed in response to her environment. Who she really is underneath the face and underneath the persona, the mask. Her innate temperament is embodied in her profile. So let's look at the profile now. It's very clear, isn't it? Meghan is quite a pure bilious. All three characteristics, the corner of the jaw, the chin, and the forehead, are all bilious. No question about it. So she is a natural leader, active, organized, and meticulous, willful, can be bossy, long-distance runner in every respect. In terms of physical endurance, she is non-stoppable. And in terms of mental functioning as well. She is able to stay on track with her goals, with her efforts, without rest and without complaints. She is a long-term planner, logical and intellectual, needs little sleep. Being on fresh air, in fact, is more important to her than food. She is what we call positive pessimist, can quickly see all the negatives in any situation, but that does not discourage her. Instead, it fuels her need for action, for overcoming obstacles and making things better. The only time she gets depressed is when she does not have problems to solve. Quite a powerhouse lady. Now, when it comes to a relationship, and a relationship with someone who is primarily a sanguine, it's a whole different story. Notice that both Harry and Meghan have the same type of a nose, the same energy type. So at play, they're a good match. With the rest of their lives, it is to be discussed. With their personalities, I would say Harry and Meghan complement each other. Though his personality is not super stable. As a Pluto, he is loyal, which is very important to Meghan. She would not settle for less. And as an adventure-loving Mars, he pulls her out of her sun detachment mode and into the risk-taking and excitement of life. Her Jupiter motherly caring and protectiveness are quite appropriate for Harry, who lost his mother at a young age. And her accepting Jupiterian attitude permits her to love and accept without judgment his mercurial, mischievous behavior. But that is more on the surface, and when not everything is good. When challenges of life come, and they always do, we go back to our innate characteristics, and that is our temperament. So let's see now how their temperaments go together. There is a Russian saying, the man is the head of the family, but the woman is the neck that turns the head around. If this relationship is to survive, Harry would definitely have to relax and allow his neck of choice to do what she knows best, to keep turning him around. And he will be happy. If he tries to do things the other way around and to impose his reign, as the sanguines often do, it ain't going to last. She knows her strength, and he knows that too. The question is whether or not it will agree with him. Remember, he is not only sanguine, he is partially bilious, willful and oppositional. If she admires his sanguine generosity, courage and spontaneity, and he admires her willfulness, love of order and reliability, things will go well. And probably that's what is happening at this point of their relationship. But they're only, in what I know, the first stage, called attraction, out of 5 stages of a relationship that I know. Once they get to the second stage, which is called power struggle, and every single relationship goes through this stage, then they will need to be super flexible and committed to compromise. In my experience of counseling couples, most, but not all, most couples never go beyond second stage. And having these two very strong temperaments may present a challenge. That is why in my book, a combination of bilious and sanguine gets a yellow light. Good match with inherent challenges to be aware of. Also, Harry is partially bilious, which is a red light, bilious and another bilious, which really makes them someplace between yellow caution and red, the match that is not that perfect. But as King Solomon said, love is as strong as death. And if these two truly love each other, having personalities that are complementary, they may negotiate the serious challenges of their temperaments, or call Peter Resnick for a consultation, just kidding, and live happily ever after. And I hope really that it works for them, and they do their very best at managing their powerful temperaments. And that is all for this attractive couple. Thank you for being with me today. Peace to all who want to live in peace.